All right, this will be the fourth quiz on the upper extremity. Again, this is doing covering hand muscles and structures, plus all the vasculature for the upper extremity, so arteries, veins, nerves. Same as the other ones, we'll go through. We'll let you know when we're done asking the questions. You can pause the video, double check your answers. When you're ready, hit play again. We'll go over the correct answers together. That's it. Let's start. Number one, we'll be down in the hand here. Come down here. We got this piece of connective tissue, and then coming off of that, oops, it's a little twisted here. Just get this guy untwisted a little bit like that. And going from the piece of connective tissue, I want you to identify this little muscle right here, so we can kind of lift this guy up, that then would lay on top of those muscles over here. So identify that muscle right there. That's number one. Number two, we come over onto the front of the elbow, and let's just hold these guys up here. And we have some of these superficial vessels that we're moving around here. And we can see we got that main one on this side, we got this other one on this side, and then we have this connection right here where they join together, and I want to know what that vessel is called that connects this to that right across the front of the elbow joint. That was two. Number three, we come back down to the hand here. We're going to take that muscle that you identified for the first one, and we're just going to fold it back a little bit like that. And I want to know what this region here is called at the base of the little finger. Name this region that I'm outlining. That's number three. Number four, we're going to stay within that region, and we're just going to move this stuff over a little bit, kind of give a little space here so we can see. And within that region, we have 1, 2, 3 muscles, and I want you to identify that third one, that one there. That's number four. Then for number five, we're going to come all the way up to the side of the neck here. And we're going to take this vessel and we're just going to move it down a little bit like that. We're going to create a little space here. And here we have those 5 vessels emerging here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of those, I want you to identify, I want you to identify the fourth one there. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fourth one. That was number 5. Number 6, we're going to stay in the same area. So same area, we're going to follow these 5 things down to where they become 3 things, and we're going to follow them down a little bit more to where they start to split like this, and we're kind of holding that all apart. And of all of those, I want you to identify what this one is here. That one. That was number 6. Number 7. We're going to come up here, and again, we find this muscle. We go just past the muscle. We got this vessel, which we're following down here, and we're going to follow it all the way down to right here. And we can see if we follow down there, I'm right in between 2 things. Let's see if we can, yeah, right in between 2 vessels there. And of those 2, I want you to identify this one there. All right, so can we see that, I think, in between those 2, this one. That is number 7. Number 8, we're going to stay in the same spot. So again, we're going to follow this vessel down, all the way down until we get over the arm here, and then we're going to move it away right there. And I want you to identify any one of these branches, any one of those branches that we're seeing there. All of them have the same name. Identify those. Number 9, we'll move back down towards the hand. Grab a probe here. All right, so we're going to come back down to the hand. We're going to take the hand and we're going to turn it over. So we're looking at the posterior side of the hand and the wrist here. And I'm going to take the probe and we're going to push it underneath of this band of connective tissue there. And I want you to identify what that band of connective tissue that we're seeing there is called. What piece of connective tissue is the probe passing under there? That was 9. Number 10. We're gonna turn the hand back over again. We're gonna look over here. We're over at the base of the thumb, right? So we have this region. Within that region, we have 3 muscles, right? So we're gonna lift this up just a little. If I can get under here, there we go. So we got 1, 2, and then the third muscle is around on that lateral side there, and I want you to identify that third muscle that we see there. So again, in this area, we got 1, 2, 3 muscles, that third one. That was number 10. Number 11, we're gonna move back up. Number 11, we're gonna move back up here. So we're gonna start, again, move this vessel down. We have those 5 things there. We're gonna follow them down to we have the 3, then they split, right? And then they split again down here. So we lift this up. So we kind of got that M shape that we can see there, right? Up, down. And of those, we kind of hold it up like that. Of those, I want you to identify this one here, right? The most lateral of those 3 branches. And we can see if we follow it, it comes down, it goes through this muscle here, and then we can see it emerge again right there. All right, so identify that vessel there. That was number 11. Number 12 is here. So I'm just gonna hold this over a little bit. All right, let me get like, hold this guy, there we go, something like that, right? So we follow this vessel down, right here, and then we're gonna follow this branch here, down, until we can see it split right there. And of those 2, we want to identify this side, the branch going this way here. And that is going to wrap around a bone there and go around towards the posterior side. So that branch that we see right there. That was number 12. Number 13, come back up. We go back to this vessel again here, right? And if we follow this down distally, it has a couple of name changes. So it's called one thing in this area, it's called a second thing in that area, and then it's called a third thing in this area. And I want to know what it's called in this second area right through here. So here, there, here, what that vessel is called as it goes through that part there. That's number 13. Then number 14, we go back down to the hand here. And so we're gonna take this piece of connective tissue, we're gonna reflect it. Then we are gonna find some of these muscles here. Let's just make a little space. Like that. Okay, so here we have these tendons. Next to it, we have these muscles. And I'm just going to open this up a little bit, move that muscle out of the way right there. And in this little window, I want you to tell me what muscle are we uncovering there. So it's deep to this muscle, which is next to the tendon. We move that away, and the muscle that's deep to that down here. Identify that. That was 14. Then number 15, come back up here. So we're gonna go back to that spot that we kind of had before, which were these vessels that are kind of oriented in this M shape here, right? So we got that M shape that we can find. We had asked this one just before, right? So we're gonna take all 3 of those things and we're gonna move them out of the way. And now we get this guy back here, right? So we got this one back here. It then splits into 2 things. If I kind of hold it like that, we can see the split there. And of those 2, I want you to identify this side of it. this one that I'm moving here. Now we can follow this down, so I'm still have it here. We come over to this side. You can see I still have it here, right? And then you can associate that, so I'm holding it there, and if we grab this here, this vessel, and move it over, we can see, right, that I'm moving the one that I asked you right here, and it goes down in the same spot as these vessels do here. That one. That was number 15. All right, number 16, we're gonna do this in 2 parts. So let's come down here. And this is gonna have a couple answers to it, and that's okay. So we're gonna come back down to the hand. We're gonna take this piece of connective tissue, right? And we're gonna move it over. And here, we just move this out of the way. Let's get this down like that. And here, you can see a little piece of connective tissue there. You can see this piece of connective tissue and see how it would close over this area like that, right? So we've opened up the carpal tunnel here. So 2 things. The first part of this is I wanna know what is the name of this piece of connective tissue, kind of this cover for the carpal tunnel here that we cut. Name that piece of connective tissue. That's the first part of 16, so we'll call that 16A. And then for 16B, I want you to tell me if we kind of get underneath of all of this stuff, and I can do it maybe this way. Yeah, like that. All right, so we get underneath of all that stuff there that we just lifted up. All of that are the contents of the carpal tunnel. I want you to name those contents. So there is 1 nerve, you're gonna name that, and then there are 3 muscles that travel through there that we're seeing the tendons for. I want you to name those 3 muscles plus the nerve. All of the contents of the brachial plexus. Okay, that's all of the questions. So pause if you need more time to go back and go over any of your answers. And when you're ready, start it back up again and we'll go over the answers together. Okay, number 1. So come down here, we were in the hand. We kind of had the palmar aponeurosis spread out and we wanted to identify, if I can get it spread it again. Sorry, to make this look decent there. There we go. So off the palmar aponeurosis, we want to identify this little muscle that's attached to it that lays over the hypothenar eminence, and that is going to be your palmaris brevis muscle. That was 1. Number 2 was to come here to all these superficial vessels on the anterior side of the elbow joint, right? So here we have basilic vein over here, you got cephalic vein over here, and then you have this connection between them. It looks like a V right here, and that is gonna be your median cubital vein. That was 2. Number 3, we came back down to the hand, we took palmaris brevis, just folded it out of the way, and we wanted to know what is the name of this region here at the base of your little finger, and that is gonna be the hypothenar eminence. Then for 4, we went within the hypothenar eminence. We kind of made a little space here, and we just made a little space with these muscles like that, so we could see 1, 2, 3 muscles within the eminence. We wanted this 3rd one down in there, and that was opponens digiti minimi. Then number 5, came back up along the side of the neck, and we found the roots of the brachial plexus. We moved subclavian artery out of the way. We found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roots. We wanted the 4th one here, and that is cervical nerve 8, or C8. Then for number 6, in the same area, we followed the roots of the brachial plexus down to where we could find the trunks, and then we took the trunks and we opened them up like this so we could see the divisions. And then of those, we identified this one here. Right? Let me just make sure that's the right one. Yeah, that one there. This guy here, which was the posterior division of the superior trunk. Posterior division of superior trunk. That was 6. Number 7 is we kind of started up on your subclavian artery. We followed that down to where we went to your axillary artery, and then right here, we wanted to find these 2 branches that we can see there, and that is we wanted the one that was in front here, the little smaller one, and that is your anterior humeral circumflex artery. So we're right in between anterior, posterior. You can see the posterior one is a little larger, right? Anterior one's a little smaller. We wanted the anterior humeral circumflex artery. That was 7. Number 8, same area. We kind of followed that artery down a little farther to where we're on the brachial artery here. Move this over, and we wanted any one of these branches that we could see in this area, all this stuff that we can grab there. Those are all deep brachial arteries. Deep brachial. Then for number 9, we went back down to the hand. We kind of turned the hand over, so we're looking at the posterior side of the hand and the wrist, and we wanted to know what was the name of this piece of connective tissue, the band that I'm passing the forceps under, and that is going to be your extensor retinaculum. Then we go to number 10, which was back over here on the palm side of the hand. We came over to the thenar eminence. We kind of highlighted the muscles here. So we got 1, 2, 3 muscles in the thenar. We wanted that third one that we can see over here, and that is opponens pollicis. Opponens pollicis. That was 10. Number 11, we came up here, and I keyed you back into the brachial plexus. Kind of went up here, showed you the roots, trunks, kind of followed it down to where we get to where we kind of got this M shape down here, right, like that, right? And this is where we're holding up the first 3 of those terminal nerves for the brachial plexus, right? And we wanted to know of this one and this one and that one, what the most lateral one is called, and that is musculocutaneous nerve. So we could see it there, and then I showed you it going through coracobrachialis, right, over to here, and that is still musculocutaneous, that whole thing there. That was number 11. Number 12 was going back to your subclavian artery, to your subscapular branch here, and then we followed subscapular down to where we could see it split here and here. And the one we wanted was this one going this way, which I said went deep around a bone to the posterior side, and that is going to be your scapular circumflex artery. And then number 13, up here, so we went back to subclavian artery, and I said it has 3 different names. We wanted to know what it's called in the second region right here, and that is going to be your axillary artery. That was 13. Number 14 was back down on the hand. So we came down here, we took the palmar aponeurosis, folded it down. We kind of keyed you into the lumbrical muscles, which we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of those here. And I kind of went in this area and moved this stuff over. We moved this lumbrical muscle out of the way, and we wanted to know what this muscle we can see deep to the lumbrical was there, and that is a palmar interosseous muscle. Palmar interosseous. That particular one we're looking at, although you didn't have to give this particular number, this is the second palmar interosseous muscle. And then for number 15, we came back up here. We went back to this part of the nerves where we were holding up these ones that kind of made up that M shape there, right? So that is musculocutaneous, median, and ulnar nerves. And I said we're going to take all these guys, we're going to move them out of the way, and we kind of highlighted this one down here that we're moving, and that I have the posterior cord here, which is splitting into your axillary, and then the one we asked was your radial nerve. And the giveaway for this is to follow it down farther. So I kind of followed this guy down over here to right about there, and then we could see if I take the brachial artery and I move it out of the way, you can see that the radial nerve that I'm moving there is going right to the same spot as the deep brachial arteries. You can put those two things together. Radial nerve passes to the posterior side of the arm at the same level that the deep brachial arteries do. That was 15. Then for 16, we went back down here to the wrist, right? So we put the palmar aponeurosis back, right? All this stuff. And I said, okay, I can take this right here and I can kind of move this side to side. And this is the lid or the covering over the carpal tunnel. Now, palmar aponeurosis is attached to this, and this particular piece of connective tissue that we're moving right here is the flexor retinaculum. So that was the 16A, was the flexor retinaculum, what's the covering of the carpal tunnel. And then B was, we're gonna grab all of this stuff here, and we wanna know what are the contents of the carpal tunnel. So we said there was one nerve, which is this guy here, that is gonna be your median nerve. Then we have three muscles. We have this one here, and that is gonna be flexor digitorum superficialis. Move that. Right under it here, you have flexor digitorum profundus. So all the tendons for those two muscles go through there. And then the last one, you can see this tendon here. And that one, if we trace it out, you can see if I move the thumb, you can see that tendon moving there, would be the tendon for your flexor pollicis longus muscle. So it'll be median nerve, flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus, and flexor pollicis longus. Those would be the contents of the carpal tunnel. And that was it.